Welcome to the Go Slow to Go Fast Lifestyle Podcast, where we explore the art of intentional living. Whether you're juggling life as a working parent, leading in your profession, or simply seeking meaning in your everyday, this space is for you. I'm your host, Kendra Chapman, and today we're diving into something so many of us wrestle with on a daily basis: overwhelm. If you've ever looked at your to-do list and felt paralyzed by the sheer weight of it, trust me, you are not alone. And I'm also right there with you. And in today's episode, it's all about tackling big projects and busy days with clarity and calm. We're going to explore practical tools like time blocking, decluttering, and simplifying to help you stay productive without losing your peace. We'll also talk about how these strategies connect with the Huga lifestyle and the Go Slow to Go Fast approach. So grab a cozy drink, curl up on the couch or in your favorite chair, or let this episode ride shotgun with you in the car, and let's dive in. Welcome back, everybody. If you're new to the podcast, welcome. I'm so glad you're here. And those of you that are returning, I'm just so happy that you keep coming back and listening to this little podcast. It means so much to me. And I hope that you continue to get something out of this podcast, that something resonates with you and you stick with it, because it's bringing me joy, and I hope that it's reaching out to you wherever you are and giving you that little extra Huga and cozy moment for you to take into your week. So this week, Huga found me in the quiet corners of structure and also a little bit in nature. So it might sound a little strange, but hear me out. I just love the sounds of nature, and as I'm lying in bed around 4 a.m. lately, I get up at 4:30 these days to jumpstart my day, but I've been getting up a little bit earlier. I've been waking up, and so I'm just listening to the silence as I come, out of my dream that I have been having, come out of my sleep, and I start to think about my day. And then lately I've been hearing an owl. It's a barred owl, I believe. And I remember listening to the female this time last year. Started hearing the barred owl in our woods. And I think this one is actually a male. There is a difference to the way they sound. You can Google it on or YouTube it and listen to the way that the females and the males sound differently. But I just find peace in listening to an owl sound. They're kind of rare for me. I don't get to hear them very often, but when I do, I find them just comforting. And they're such wise creatures. They definitely represent thinking and wisdom. And so I really appreciate when I get a chance to interact with an owl, or at least hear an owl. So I've been hearing that in the mornings. And also I've been really trying to get back into my routine of doing a brain dump on Sundays, Sunday afternoons or mornings. When I get a moment, I like to block out about an hour and start writing down all the things that I have to get done in the next week. And so I did do that this Sunday, and I felt so much better after I did it. I got all the things out of my head onto paper, and there's just something about seeing all that mental clutter in writing, and it's just no longer swirling in my head. So that creates a sense of order and peace for me. And then I lit a candle and I took a bath, and then I was able to just kind of process and decompress and move on. And then I just knew what my next step was in tackling all the projects and things that I had to get done this week. So that was a great reminder of just take an hour and write down all the things and then map it out and get it out of my brain. That keeps me from having to go on that constant loop of all the things that I've forgot to do and that I must be forgetting to do. And then, if there's things that I have to add to it throughout the day, then I will. I'll go back to it and say, oh yeah, there's one more thing. Or nope, there's one more thing that I've got to get done. But, Huga isn't just about cozy blankets and tea. It's the emotional relief of making space, that physical, mental, and emotional space for whatever matters to you in the moment. And if it's a brain dump, then do it. It can be a gateway to calm, and it definitely was for me. That's my Huga moment for this week. Doing a brain dump and being excited to hear that the barred owl family is back. I may hear the male and the female, but right now I'm hearing the male hooting in our woods. And so it's not just about a brain dump on Sundays, but also making sure that I have some time for myself in the morning. Sometimes it's waking up 30 minutes earlier then when my alarm goes off so I can have a little extra quiet time. It can be a game changer as long as I'm not losing my sleep. So I have to get to bed early enough the night before, which means I need to be winding down a good 30 minutes before I go to bed with no screens. And, time for me to wind down means maybe puttering around the house and tidying things up, folding laundry, or getting the dishwasher stocked and ready to go and running it before I go to bed. But definitely just giving myself some time and a little buffer in between my routines at night and in the morning helps me feel better. And then I also like to go through my week prior. So once I've done my brain dump and all the things that I need to get done, then I also go back and think about the previous week and what worked and didn't work. Did I overbook myself? Did I have too many meetings on top of each other? Did I ignore my bedtime too many times and feel it the next day? Did I let email pile up? Did I say yes to too many things when I really meant to say not right now? Yeah, so all those things I go through and kind of figure out what worked for me and what didn't work, and then what I need to do differently moving into the next week, and making sure I finish all my things that I've got to do and button up, and prepping for meals for the week, cleaning out the fridge so when I go grocery shopping, I have room for my fresh groceries. Do I need to start a compost bin? So I have all these little things that I've got to get done. Make sure I schedule in movement breaks, because if I don't schedule it, it doesn't happen. Just all the little things. Making sure that I buy more tea because, got to make sure I have my caffeine. But after all of that and getting my brain dump, all my to-dos, reflecting on the previous week, then I set a goal of what I want to accomplish for the coming week, and then I'm ready to make sure I stick to my routines. So my Huga intention for this week ahead is to create warmth through rhythm. Structure doesn't have to be stiff. It can be soft. It can be flexible. Let your routine feel like a cozy rhythm that holds you, not something that squeezes you and stifles you. And so I'm leaning into my slower transitions this week, my gentle check-ins, and giving myself permission to pause. Now, for segment 2, this is my Huga highlight, where I'm tackling overwhelm and talking to you about what works for me. So let's break it down into 3 aligned strategies. These are the things that I use in my life when work starts to feel overwhelming. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about the research that backs it up. Number 1, time blocking. Give every task a home. Time blocking isn't just trendy. It's not just productivity advice. It's backed by cognitive science. According to a study published in the Harvard Business Review from 2018, when we batch similar tasks and assign them specific slots, our brains are more likely to enter a state of flow. And that means deeper focus and less back and forth. We're not costing ourselves more time by switching back and forth. And this is how I do it. I create themed blocks like creative work, meetings, admin tasks, and family time. And then I schedule those like appointments, because if it's not on my calendar, it's not going to happen. And this is just one change alone that helps me from going reactive to proactive. And it gives me time and structure without rigidity, because I can always change it, but I want to initially schedule it so it'll happen. And that comes from the research from Baumeister and Tierney from 2011. There's this article called Willpower, Rediscovering the Greatest Human Strength. Also, number 2, decluttering. Physical space equals mental space. So you want to make sure your space where you're working is clear of clutter, because then you're not distracted and not trying to procrastinate. And that is something that I have struggled with all my life. So if my space is clear, then my mind feels clear and I can focus on my work. So your environment reflects your mental state, and vice versa. Research from Princeton University Neuroscience Institute, according to McMahons and Kastner from a 2011 article, shows that physical clutter competes for your attention. So reducing focus, and it'll also increase stress. I'm not saying that you need to go full Marie Kondo or anything, but try this one simple solution. Pick one zone of overwhelm, a drawer, a desktop, a corner of your kitchen. Set a timer for 20 minutes and declutter with intention. Keep only what supports your current lifestyle, what you currently need, not what you think you're going to need in 5 years or what you thought you needed 6 months ago. What do you currently need? And what are you using right now is what you need to keep in that space. This creates mental white space and more room, and it's subtle. It's almost spiritual. It gives you that sense of order, and it's a reset button, or yoga, as I like to say. Number 3, simplify systems. Complexity is the enemy of progress. As a principal, a mom of triplets, and a coach, I can't afford to complicate systems. I have used elaborate plans and color-coded spreadsheets, but I rarely stick to them if it's just too complex. So what works for me is one thing. So I have to pick, am I going to use one calendar, one notebook that I carry with me everywhere, or one digital tool? Because if I have to cross-reference and go between different things, then I'm just not going to use any tool well. And so what's worked for me is a paper planner that is also a calendar. And although I have to update it every quarter because it's only 3 months worth, it does work for me. I'm just thinking about maybe upgrading to a calendar planner that works for the whole year, so I don't have to keep setting it up every quarter. So I am looking to streamlining that process for me, but I know that paper works better for me, something that I can bring with me everywhere. I don't have to worry if the Wi-Fi is going to connect and work right that day, because nothing bothers me more than after I've done a lot of research and planning and have it all in one place and then I can't get to it. So I definitely like to be able to have paper in hand, and not just as a backup, but as a go-to. This isn't minimalism for aesthetics' sake, it's for functional sake, right? Form and function. So decision fatigue is definitely real. According to Dr. Roy Baumeister, who also, quoting again, the more choices you have to make, the more your brain tires out. So simplicity protects your mental energy for what matters most. So again, think about it. Going slow to go fast, and the slow lifestyle, this approach and philosophy is all about making your life more simple. How can you streamline things? How can you simplify things? What can you do less of, right? Do less, attract more, as Gabby Bernstein says. What can we do in our life to maximize our impact, maximize our time, and worry less about? And that's really where I'm going to leave it today, asking you to reflect. What can you do? What's your next step? What's your next best move that you can make to simplify your life so you don't have that overwhelm happening every day or once a week? If you're getting the Sunday scaries, I didn't realize that that was a thing, because I used to be the person that was always excited to go to work. I found work enjoyable. I looked forward to work. Now I ended up working in a school. That's where I gravitated towards because I enjoyed school when I was in school. And so then I ended up making it my life's work. And so really for the last, I would say at least 22, 23 years, I've been excited to go to work every day. It's not until recently where I've started to get the Sunday scaries, and that's been a change for me. It's something that I've had to really think about and reflect on and wonder, why is that? I think part of it is the world we're living in now, where there's so much going on, and overwhelm is the new norm, and it's not slowing down. And so I have to be intentional. That's partly why I started this podcast, to be intentional about slowing down so I don't get overwhelmed. And Sunday scaries are a thing, and they've been a thing for a long time. I just wasn't part of that mindset. I didn't have that feeling about Sundays. But now I find myself feeling that way. It can be overwhelming if I don't do my brain dump on Sundays and I don't take time to plan out my week. So I avoid Sunday scaries by making sure I'm doing my brain dump and setting myself up for success. So that's all for today's episode of the Go Slow to Go Fast Lifestyle Podcast. I hope you feel empowered to take one small step toward calm and clarity this week, whether it's blocking time, clearing a drawer, or ditching a complicated system that's not serving you. So now I'd love to hear from you. What's one thing that's bringing you Huga this week? Or what's one way that you're going to simplify your next busy day? Let's keep the conversation going. You can contact me at my website, on Instagram. They're both Coaching with Kendra Chapman. My website is coachingwithkendrachapman.com, and my Instagram is at coachingwithkendrachapman. So tag me in your refresh journey. I'd love to see how you're embracing slow living. And if you've enjoyed this episode, I hope that you'll share it with everybody you know, because we're building a community that leads with calm, clarity, and courage. And remember, take it slow, be intentional, embrace the season you're in, because the peace in me honors the purpose in you. And as you move into the next part of your week, let your light shine through. And until next time, take care, keep leading with purpose, and remember to go slow to go fast. And thanks for listening.